going on, everybody? Welcome to the RBS Cinema Podcast.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
This is Sparta! I'm thinking I'm back.
Why so serious?
Avengers!
Assemble. I'm Batman.
You better lawyer up, asshole. Because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
I'll be back. You shall not pass!
RBS.
Lovely.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of RBS Cinema. This week's episode, we are talking about Mission Impossible Fallout. And before we talk about Fallout, I'm your host, Devin. With me, as always, is co-host Jack.
I am still Jack.
He is still Jack. Jacking it up. Probably not jacking off. So,
Great way to start, Devin.
I know, right? Isn't it great? So this is another, for those of you that are just joining us, is another summer movie blockbuster hit. And for the months of June, July, and August, we are spinning the wheel at the end of each episode, correlating to a summer movie blockbuster hit. So be tuning in for the end of that. Also, speaking of tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening, having us in the background, however you guys are doing it. Thank you all so much for, enjoying the podcast, not enjoying it. I don't know. I don't govern who does what. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section below about a movie that you guys want us to talk about. Be sure to share this around with anybody that you think that might be interested in hearing other people's opinions about your favorite movie or just other movies in general that you think about might be watching.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
And also be sure to follow the show on YouTube and on Spotify. And be sure to follow the show on Instagram and on TikTok, because that's where I will be posting out clips of the show. Let's get into talking about Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
So, this is part of the franchise. This is like
The sixth movie.
Yeah, the sixth movie in the franchise. Because I was telling you about it last week that the Mission Impossible movies go off of their own cuff because they don't really talk about the past events that happen. Except for like this one. This one actually talks about what happens in Rogue Nation.
But to be fair, it's only the one that, it's like I said, it's the one that all the events that happened in the fifth movie.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
That the Mission Impossible movies you can just sort of drop in. And even if you didn't watch Rogue Nation, they tell you all the stuff.
Yeah.
They tell you all the stuff that you need to know.
They pretty much sum up what happens in that movie for the most part within like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, given the fact that this is like an over 2 hour long movie, like it actually goes by pretty quick.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But for those of you that are new, talking about what the movie is actually about, who directed it, starred in it, all the people that are associated with the movie, and then we'll actually talk about the movie in general. So, Fallout is about a group of terrorists plans to detonate 3 plutonium cores for a simultaneous nuclear attack on different cities. Ethan Hunt, along with the IMF team, Mission Impossible Force, I forgot what the F stood for a second, sets out to stop the carnage.
It's the Impossible Mission Force.
Yeah.
See, because they switch around the letters.
Right.
Isn't that so
IMF.
clever?
Yeah.
No, but like it's fine. Like the way that this at least these movies are consistent.
Oh yeah.
With how they like set up everything, and it's like
right.
Like any other movie would be like Impossible Mission Force. That seems kind of lame, but they stick to their guns on it.
Yeah.
So
because like even which we'll get to later on, like when Henry Cavill is with Ethan throughout this whole movie, where he just goes like, you really just go off the cuff like that, don't you? Because for him, he's more meticulously planned and does other stuff. So is Ethan, but like if something goes wrong, he just pivots and he's able to actually try to figure out a way to like get out of the situation somehow, some way.
Yeah. So
but we got director Christopher McQuarrie.
I believe it's McQuarrie.
I think it's McQuarrie. Then we got writers Bruce Geller and of course Christopher McQuarrie as well. It actually won some awards. I was looking at this last night. It won one BAFTA for
Really?
Best Sound. But it also won in 2019, since this came out in 2019, won Best Action Adventure Film, as well as Best Actor of Tom Cruise, Best Writer was Christopher McQuarrie, and Special Effects.
That was some pretty stiff competition in 2019. Didn't Infinity War come out in 2019? Was it 2018?
It was Endgame.
Oh, Endgame came out.
Because
that makes sense.
because I mistakenly did this during John Wick, that I said that I went to go see John Wick Chapter 3 and Infinity War at the same time.
No, you said you meant Endgame.
Yeah, I meant Endgame, because I didn't realize that Infinity War came out in 2018.
Yeah.
So that's why. And for that, I apologize. So, otherwise, moving on to the cast. So, of course, we got Tom Cruise coming back from the franchise, because he is the main character. Ethan Hunt. We got Henry Cavill, who plays as August Walker, and I mean, like, we'll just call him Walker because
Did they ever say his first name in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What a stupid name, August. Can I just say?
You're right.
His first name is actually Agent.
Yeah. His from Avengers.
Yeah.
I was like, it collected my head at the last second. I'm like, oh yeah, duh.
His first name is Agent, actually.
But I think it's Angela Bassett, who's also in this movie. He plays as Erica Sloan, who is like basically his handler.
Yeah, I remember her. I don't remember them saying. Oh yeah, no. Hunley does say it at one point.
Yeah.
So.
And then we got Vin Rhames as Luther Stickle, but we'll just call him Luther.
I love Luther so much.
Oh yeah, he's great in this whole series. Like,
Vin Rhames,
awesome.
his voice is so crispy.
Yeah, I think he was first introduced either in the first one or the second one. I can't remember, because it's been forever since I've seen them. When I first was getting into the series, I bought like the 5-film collection.
Yeah.
So at which we used to have like FYE at Westroads. So like I bought it there, and I was like, dude, it's actually a really good price, and it still had everything with it.
Yeah.
Like the digital codes, they weren't used. So I just put them up on my digital platform. I was just like, dude, let's go. Now I have them on digital, which is awesome. And then I think I binge watched all of them in one weekend.
You can kind of do well. I mean, maybe not in one weekend, but like you can go sort of like get these movies in back to back. That's what I kind of liked about watching this 3-movie stint, because before this movie I watched the 4th one, the 5th one, and the 6th one.
Yeah,
I'd already seen the previous 3. Sorry, I'd already seen the first 3.
Yeah. Previously,
and I had a pretty good idea of what happened to them, but I was just like, okay, I need a refresher just to be able to watch up to this movie. So
right,
and it was surprisingly frictionless to be able to watch those 3 together.
Yeah.
So
and then we got Simon Pegg, who plays as Benji Dunn.
Love him.
Rebecca Ferguson is Isla Faust. Got Sean Harris as Solomon Lane. And we got Vanessa Kirby coming back as the White Widow, who, if you remember, was in Hobbs and Shaw.
That's right.
Yeah, and which we talked about last week, so go watch that one too.
God, she was so much better in this film.
Yeah, she was actually.
And
then,
much better.
And then we've got Michelle Monaghan coming back with her name's Julia. She was Tom Cruise's wife in the 3rd movie.
Yes.
Or the 4th movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3rd or 4th, yeah.
Yeah. And then we got Wes Bentley as Eric, who plays as her current husband in the movie. And last but not least, we got Alec Baldwin, who killed a guy on a set of a movie as Alan Hunley.
Mr. Glenn Ross himself, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. So, because we'll move on to taglines here. I've only got one for you. Some missions are not a choice.
Really? There's only one tagline?
That's it. That's the only one. So, but no, I literally had a note that I was jotting stuff down. I was like, oh my god, it's Alec Baldwin. He killed a guy. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I
forgot that he was in this movie. I was just like, holy shit, he killed someone.
He's in the last. He's in the last one too.
Yeah, he is.
But that was when was that? That was a couple years ago, right? This was before.
I think
it was after this movie came out. So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was really interesting to me. I was just like, what the hell? Like, because, but I did, before we talk about the movie itself, I did want to mention that, like, the first 3 movies, like 1, 2, and 3, you can pretty much watch back to back to back.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And then you have these newer ones that came out afterwards of like 4, 5, and 6. Those ones actually go together too.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh yeah, like piggybacking off of what happened in the previous movie, and so on and so forth, just to keep expanding upon this story of these characters or the events that happen in these movies, kind of like either the Marvel movies or like the Fast and Furious movies that we've talked about before with Hobbs and Shaw last week.
But this movie, I feel like they do it way better because not like, yeah, you can watch them back to back and you'll get that, but like you can still watch them like like out. Well, you can't watch them out of order, but you can just sort of drop in on the series. And what I like about this is that they don't spend more, like you said, more than 3 minutes on unnecessary exposition.
Yeah,
it makes them flow a lot better. Like when you're in a movie in a series, and sometimes the last movie ends and the other one begins, and then there's a lot of like dumb stuff that happens at the beginning of the movie to like help set it up.
Yeah.
Rather than just like moving like straight along because it's a movie in a franchise.
Right.
More movies should do that. If you're the next entry in a franchise, despite how long ago the movie came out, you should just be able to flow into the next film pretty seamlessly because that will increase the amount of people that want to watch the films after they come out in the theaters, and people who own like box sets and stuff like that. It helps sell the movies more if they're easy to
digest,
move along between the ones of them. So, Mission Impossible is like one of the only franchises that really does that well, I would say.
Oh yeah, because like granted, with like the first 3 Fast and Furious movies, they don't piggyback off of each other either.
Yeah.
Like after the third one, then it's basically kind of like, okay, well, all this bunch of stuff happened and blah 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 and so on and so forth. But for the first one, like you just had their own group, and then the only person that is consistent in the second one is Paul Walker, with being Brian, and so like he goes to Miami.
Yeah.
To go and do stuff. I don't remember because it's been forever since I've seen these movies. But, and then even in the third one, nobody from the series is in the third one. It's just a whole new group of characters and a whole new group of cast. So it's a whole new story in general.
Yeah.
And then they decided to do like a soft reboot of the series for Fast and Furious. Because the first one is just called The Fast and the Furious. And then the fourth one is called Fast and Furious. And then we got all of our people coming back from the first
confusing.
movie. It is. Because then at that point, it's all like, okay, now we have all the rest of these people that were in these previous movies coming back after like the fourth movie. So.
But what's also great about the Mission Impossible films is that everything gets wrapped up.
Oh yeah.
By the end.
Yeah.
There's
like,
none of this
they do a neat little bow at the end of the movie. It's like, hey, like he saved the day, the world's safe again, all this bunch of stuff.
And the cast members have a laugh.
Yeah.
The actors have a laugh. The characters have a laugh. I hate when movies in franchises end like as something is about to happen, right? I get it for like even like Lord of the Rings, as good as those films are, kind of sucks because again, you have to watch them all together.
Yeah.
In order to be able to understand what's going on, because there's a lot that happens in those films.
Oh yeah.
And oftentimes the like for example, watching the Hobbit films, right? Mm-hmm. You going from the second one to the third one, you really have to know what happens in the last hour of the second one to be able to get into the beginning part of the third one.
Right.
Right? Because otherwise you're just going to be totally confused, like, wait, what's going on?
Right.
I didn't watch the first two. What's happening? And then you have to have a long, drawn-out conversation of exactly what happened. These films do not do that.
No.
I love that.
Yeah, because like you said, like you can literally just drop in the middle of one of these movies and you're perfectly fine, because especially where it's all like, oh yeah, like here's this 2-3 minute exposition of what happened in the previous movie or movies. Like the first one is just its own cohesive story. The second one is just like not even expanded upon that. It's just expanded upon the character of Ethan Hunt and his team.
Like threats been eliminated, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
We're done. Okay, until this next thing happens.
Right.
But it's also only contained. Like there you can you don't have to wonder like what was Ethan Hunt doing in between these two movies. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Right. He's just probably
like,
doing like smaller.
Even
stuff.
in the second one, like in the beginning, he's climbing up the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
And he's mountain climbing like freehand, and he gets up to the top, and then they give him the mission and like. They're like, hey, like if you choose to accept it, blah 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 blah. Like, oh, the world needs you again. We need your help. Like, get your team together and like go here and do this and get this guy.
We'll get to that like a little bit, but like I have a couple things to say about that. So
the mission,
like how Ethan Hunt receives the missions in every single installment, and like how that's like consistent.
Right.
You know, like it's consistently ridiculous. You know?
Which, honestly, I probably should have jotted this down, but here we go. Perfect, because what you were talking about when he gets his mission and stuff. So especially in this one, where it just looks like, because we open up with him marrying his wife, and then like the bad guy is there as
Solomon Lane.
Yeah, as the father who's christening their marriage, and then like he just goes
officiator.
Like, and then he just goes like, like, you know, the world's gonna die and blah blah blah, and so he starts freaking out. He wakes up from his nightmare, and he gets a knock at the door, and then there's a delivery guy, and Ethan, it seems like that he's on the run or something like that, or he's hiding. Yeah, because like, and again, it's not explained, but you just go along with it because it's awesome.
Yeah, because I mean, he's a secret agent. You know?
And so he opens up the door, and they're like because like this is what I wanted to say was like the delivery guy goes like, fate whispers to the warrior, and then he says a storm is coming. He says, and the warrior whispers back, I am the storm.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, that is so good.
It's very cool.
Fate whispers to the warrior, a storm is coming. The warrior whispers back, I am the storm.
Because it's like, I would have wanted to imagine if Ethan there was like, what? And then the guy walks away, then then cut to credits.
Well, like, there's this new movie that has Leonardo DiCaprio in it, where he goes on the phone, it's in the trailer, and he's all like talking about like this code, kind of like this kind of thing. And so like they ask him like, okay, well, what time is it? And he goes like, oh, fuck, what time was it? And so he forgets what the code word is to finish out the thing. And they're like, okay, well, we can't help you then. And then he just goes like, come on, like, I'm looking for this guy, I'm this person, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, well, call us back when you have the time. And then they hang up. And so he's like, fuck.
Rise and shine.
Pat an eyelash.
Good morning.
There are no hands on the clock.
Why?
Because they're not needed.
What time is it?
You know, I don't remember that part. All right, let's just not nitpick over the passwords.
The answer to your question.
Maybe you should have studied the rebellion text a little harder.
I need to find my daughter.
Well, then call us back when you have the time.
You just
like, it's so funny.
But the idea that it's in Homer's Odyssey is the book that it like the message comes in, and then he has to like prick his finger, and it's so ridiculous.
Because he opens it up, and it's kind of like what we talked about in John Wick, where it has a false end part. Yeah, and so when he opens it up, it's like a recording. Yeah, and so he pricks his finger, and then that way, and so like when it pricks his finger, it takes his DNA, and then it runs it, and it goes like, okay, like this is Ethan Hunt.
And then we get the exposition of what happened in the last film.
Right. So he is basically, in the short end of it, is that the apostles are still out there. They don't know who they are, but all they know is that they want the 3 things of plutonium, so that way that they can set them off in 3 different parts of the world to create a nuclear send out.
And basically, the apostles hire modern day Ted Kaczynski to create nuclear bombs.
Right.
So we got to go get them, basically.
Right. And
this message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Again, consistent.
Yeah.
I love it. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Like oh man, like you're never like, oh really? They're doing that again? Like no,
Right.
that's part of the fun of watching the film. 'Cause,
Right.
Like, most of the films play out in similar ways, right? Like there's always like several missions or several tasks that have to be done during the mission. You getting the mission, finishing the mission.
Yeah.
It's always the same formula, but it works.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because like even in the second movie that I was just talking about, where he gets the mission, he puts on a pair of sunglasses that are waiting for him up top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And he puts them on, and then so like they're telling him about all this bunch of stuff, blah blah blah, and then they go like, oh, this message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. So he takes them off and throws them at the camera, then it explodes.
Yes.
And
yes.
then even in this one, it just like pretty much has a puff of smoke that comes up, and then it bleeds, and like it doesn't bleed into like the title card of going like Mission Impossible Fallout.
No,
like,
because
it just goes to the next scene.
It waits for that because it's
Yeah.
like it's you're expecting that to happen from what happened in the second film. It's
Right.
like, oh, he throws the box.
Like
and
it
then-
destroys, and then like especially in this context where the puff of smoke comes out, and then it's supposed to bleed into the title sequence. It's like, no, it doesn't. It just bleeds into the next scene of them going to the location to buy the plutonium.
like 2 movies ago in Ghost Protocol, he's the mission thing is at the payphone.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you're waiting for it to explode, and he goes back and he taps on it, and
Yeah.
then they explode because
Yeah.
it's like a dud.
Right.
So, again, very like the same way that he's getting information. It's the same premise, but it's done differently because it's like, oh, we gotta keep this, but we gotta try to do new and creative ways.
Right.
It's a good running trope, I guess. I should
Yeah,
say.
because like that's like the other thing that I really like about these movies is that, like, besides the fact that you just jump in at any given point in these movies and you're fine, but like the whole trope of going like, oh, like here's your mission, and it's not just like somebody comes over with a dossier and goes like, okay, here's the file for the mission, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
But no, like it's always a creative way, just in case somebody is like watching, that they're like anticipating on like finding or something, which I really enjoy, especially where in this movie where he gets a package and it's in a book.
Yeah.
So
and it's in a book that's in a bigger package and stuff like that. Like that's the difference I think between like a spy movie and like a secret agent film.
Yeah.
Like this is a secret agent film that because it's so over the top.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous that like a normal spy wouldn't really do that. You know, they have those tropes of like, oh, I can read lips, or like, oh, I can. You know, we're speaking in code, like the
Yeah.
typical spy stuff, but like hiding stuff in ridiculous places that only a certain person would be able to know.
Yeah.
And he's kind of overpowered in that sense.
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt, that's just like, oh, he can get himself out of anywhere. You
Right.
know? And he goes all over the world, and like he can basically hide himself. That's different from a spy, I feel like, because he has more autonomy.
Yeah.
Than somebody who's like, oh, for Queen and Country, like James Bond.
Right.
Is.
Plus, I also really like in these movies that everything that they do is very fast paced and super quick.
Yeah, it's like they don't dwell
always,
on stuff
it's always
too much.
timed super well.
Yes.
Like, what is it in? I think it's Ghost Protocol when he jumps up the giant wall.
Yeah.
And he rolls over and like takes a picture with the camera of the camera, and so that way it does the point of view.
Yes.
And he prints out the picture and then puts it up on the camera, so that way it just looks like of what it's looking at.
Yeah.
And then he rolls back down and he uses the zip line to basically like get down off the wall.
Yeah.
And then again, because of that sequence right there, it's a callback to the first one when he does the same thing and he's getting hoisted back up in that control room.
Yeah.
And then the guy loses his grip and he falls and he catches him at the last second, and he was like inches away from the floor.
It's
that exact same thing that he just, instead of doing it on purpose, doing it on accident, now he just does it on purpose, where he just falls out and then it instantly stops like inches from the ground.
Yeah. I think they said a line in here about that Ethan Hunt is a scalpel.
Yeah.
Basically, it's so precise.
I have it written down because like when what's her face? Let me see. Bring her back up. Where it's Sloane where she goes like, "You prefer like you use a scalpel. I prefer to use a hammer."
Yeah, when
talking about Ethan and Walker.
Walker, yeah. And again, a big contrast from this film to like the last one. Okay, we'll get into like the actual details of the film pretty soon. But I have a couple more. I have one more point that I want to make, and then we can like further move on.
Yeah,
is that when I'm watching a Tom Cruise film, I don't see Tom Cruise. I see the character he's playing it. I see it as Ethan Hunt, or I see it as Maverick, in Top Gun, and stuff like that. It's like or I see the other guy that's in. Like, you ever seen Edge of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I believe he's that character, and he's not just playing as himself.
Right.
Like in Hobbs and Shaw, where where I couldn't get into the character or the spirit of the character because all I saw was just Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Right.
So, I like that about Tom Cruise. As weird as he is with his, off-screen antics.
Oh, yeah.
as he is a really good actor, and he's a really good... He's his stunts are also really cool, and he doesn't baby it up. He just does it.
No.
And, man, he's old now.
Yeah, and I especially like in each one of these movies, it's not that they're upping the ante with each one of like the biggest things that happen in the movie. Because like in each one of the movies, they always have something that's like super big that they've never done before. Like in this one, where he falls out of the plane and they're touching down into Paris. Or it's also the thing where it's like this giant helicopter fight at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah,
and like where it's like in the which one, the fourth one I think, or the Rogue Nation I think is when, like, because we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Of where he's hanging off the side of the giant plane and stuff.
Yes.
It's like that's a big scene
and
that
then,
happens.
like, him in Ghost Protocol, he's climbing up the Burj Khalifa during a sandstorm.
Yeah.
Or, like, as a sandstorm's approaching it. It's like, that's spectacle.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a giant spectacle of a shot that happens. And, like, that's one of the biggest things that people will talk about. So, like, what's the big thing that they're going to talk about?
You have to also worry that, like, okay, when is Mission Impossible going to jump the shark,
Right.
When are they going to do something so ridiculous that, like, nothing's ever going to top it? And that point, it just, like, loses any sort of, like, the spectacle.
Right.
To that. And, because they never really do that. They do big things in every single movie, but they never outplay each other.
Oh, yeah.
They never, like, one-up each other after the next big thing, which is something that Marvel should probably take a note from, is to not amp up the spectacle every single installment to the point where certain movies just are really boring because they have nothing big in them.
Yeah.
And if they did try to do it, it wouldn't top this moment or wouldn't top that moment.
Yeah.
So,
honestly, they just need to, for their own collective of movies, it's just like have a big moment that happens, or have a couple of big moments that happen that is just contained in its own movie. Not trying to up the ante of another movie or trying to pivot off of, like, Thor: The Dark World and then Ragnarok.
Yeah, the more you do that, like, that's a great example actually.
Yeah.
Of that we have to correct the mistakes in Thor: The Dark World because it was super boring and people didn't like it. So let's go a completely different direction and just make a wacky comedy where Thor becomes a
comedic
like,
relief
we
character.
changed this character because a movie we did was so bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Not one, but two.
Two movies that we did were bad. And it's just like, thank God these movies do not do that. They don't try to fix mistakes that have happened in the past. Like they could have easily, like, I mean, people say that, like, the second one is kind of the weaker one in this franchise, but, like, it's still there. It's still part of the history.
Oh, yeah.
And it's never like, the first couple movies are now, they're not as cool anymore because they do something cooler in the later films. Like, that never happens. I'm glad that never happens, because then you're more likely to want to watch the earlier films, or you're more likely to, you're less. It's not that you're less likely to watch the later films because they don't do it as well, or they do it too much.
Yeah.
So, anyway, sorry, I wanted to get that off.
Fine.
Like, it was a very. I wanted to get that point across because I kind of realized, like, wow, this is actually the best franchise, isn't it?
Right. It's definitely one of the
franchises.
best action franchises of all time.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did like about the movie is when they go to talk to Dr. Delbrook.
Yes.
And because, like, he wakes up in the hospital and he was in a car accident
Yeah.
And Ethan and
Luther are there.
Luther go to like ask him questions, and the news is on. So like they're saying that the bombs already got set off because they were going to do the deal with the plutonium.
Yeah, they were,
and then
a
it went
fake arms
sideways.
deal. Yeah,
and then they went sideways
and
because
they got the
Luther
plutonium stolen.
Yeah, because Luther was being held at gunpoint.
Yeah.
By one of them, and then Ethan decided to save him instead of get the plutonium and leave.
And now the plutonium's in the wind.
Yeah.
So
now they don't know where the plutonium is.
And then cut to next scene where the Vatican, Jerusalem, and Mecca are completely destroyed.
Right.
And
it's a nuclear devastation too.
And they have an actual CNN anchor.
Yeah.
I think it's Wolf Blitzer is his name.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So famous CNN anchor
reporter.
People it makes it believable, right?
Yeah.
And so they're in this scene, and they're
especially when he wakes up and he just starts laughing because he goes like, my device is worked and all this bunch of stuff and whatever, because he was one of the apostles.
Yeah, that was unsettling.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh yeah, I was just like, dude, what the hell? Because like it's been forever since I've seen this, so I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And then, they start like asking him questions, and I loved this part, especially because I've seen this trailer like so many times, because this always happens in the trailer where Ethan goes to like attack him and Luther grabs him and he goes like, we're not those type of people. He goes like, maybe we should be.
Ethan, give me 5 minutes with this guy.
Ethan, I can't let you do that. That's not who we are.
Well, maybe we need to reconsider that.
Maybe we should.
And then it's like, dude, if Ethan went to the dark side, that'd be fucking abysmal.
Like, this was a really well done scene. Like, so like for those of you, like, to sum up who this guy is, who Dr. Delbrook is, he's basically just nuclear bomb Ted Kaczynski. Yeah. So he's gonna give them the codes to be able to deactivate the devices or any future devices.
Yeah, but
and then he's like, nope, I'm not gonna give them to you, and not unless you read my
manuscript,
my manifesto while I'm on air. So
and then they're just like, okay, well that's not gonna happen. And he goes like, well then I guess you're not gonna figure out how to disarm any future tech that I've
and then
made.
Ethan almost crashes out and like, no, man, it's not worth it, man.
Right.
And then
I was just like, damn, this is getting intense.
Yeah, it really is intense because
it gets you going for a second.
It really did.
And then they fake you out because Ethan gets on the phone and he goes like, yeah, sir.
He's not being cooperative. He wants to read the manifesto. Let's do it.
Yeah, and then so he just goes like, I'm sorry, sir, and gets off the phone. He goes,
and then
like,
5 seconds later, you see on the TV is like, well, I'm getting some new information right now.
Yeah, which I have this written down because I figured that I would say this. It's like the first part of the manifesto is there's never been peace without first a great suffering. The greater the suffering, the greater the peace. And I'm like, that line goes pretty hard, actually.
Yeah.
So, and then so he starts laughing and he goes like, all right, cool. Like, I'll give you this code. And then Luther takes down all the information on the computer.
Yeah.
And Ethan looks at him and he just goes like, did we get it? And he goes like, yeah, we got it. And so he goes like, all right, shut it down. And then the walls fall. And then the lights turn off, the walls fall over. And then he's just like, what the hell's happening? And then you just see the CNN anchor walk from another side of this building and then comes over, and then he goes like, did we get it? He goes like, yep, we got it. And it turns out that it's Benji.
It's Benji all along.
And he just goes like, see, I told you he'd fall for it. And then Luther gives him like $20 or something. I thought that was funny.
And it's like the bombs didn't go off.
They had a bet. Nope. And he goes like, yeah, because they ask him like how, because he asks both Ethan and Luther, like, how long have I been in the hospital for? He goes like, well, you were in a car accident that happened like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
And then he just goes like, what's happening? He goes like, yeah, well, you were actually remember when we said that you were in a car accident 2 weeks ago? That was actually an hour ago.
Yeah.
And so Benji goes like, I was the other driver.
Hello. And then it goes like, boom, cut the title card.
Yep. And so the title cards always go so hard, but they always show clips of what's going to happen throughout the movie.
It's kind of like a spoiler almost.
Yeah. So because and they always show the big pivotal things that happen in the movie,
and then they do the names of the cast, and it's always accompanied by a fuse being lit and it snaking across the screen basically.
Yeah.
It's such a good thing, and at the same time, by doing this, by showing scenes in the movie, you set expectations for the audience, and that I think that's what helps make these movies flow really, really well. Is because you remember like, wait, oh yeah, this was in the opening scene. I was like, oh, that's where we are, because it's all in order,
right?
Like of as it goes to the title card of the events that happen. So it's like, oh wait, so he jumps off a building here. Okay, so now they're in helicopters at this point. So it's like, oh, and then when you see the helicopters, like, oh, this must be almost close to the end.
Yeah,
we're getting to the end of the movie, and so like that helps the movie flow better, and it makes it so like it's not dragging on, because you when you recognize those moments that you see in the title card, it's like, oh, we're at this part. Oh, we're moving along. Oh, we're already at this part now.
Yeah, I really wish that Sam was actually here to do this, because he's out of town right now, right?
Right.
On vacation. And so, like, I told him that, like, because we've talked about this movie because of the arm reload that Henry Cavill does in this movie. And because, like, when they're in the bathroom and they're fighting the Asian dude, that they are saying is...
John Lark.
Yeah, John Lark. And when he gets up, he takes off his jacket and he does this. That's what they're dubbing as the arm reload.
Oh, this move?
Yeah, when he hammer fists his arms down and like he comes back up in a boxer stance, that's the arm reload.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. I was like, I thought, okay, because you said that he does an arm reload, and I thought, wait, so does he have like a metal
mechanical arm that I missed?
Yeah. I was like, that's what I thought you meant.
Yeah, no. So like we were talking about it because like especially during the press release for this movie, Henry Cavill was doing stuff and like talking about the movie and whatever, and somebody asks him like, can you do the arm thing that you do in the movie? And he goes like, all right. So he stands up and then he just does this, and he does it and everybody freaks out because it's like the coolest thing that anybody's ever done on screen.
It is pretty cool when a guy gets into a boxer stance and just starts punching people.
Yeah, like
although he got wrecked.
Oh yeah, he does. Which we'll get to here pretty soon, because I want to be able to talk about the airplane scene.
Yes,
like because it is such like quick, concise things that happen, especially during the scene, because now we are introduced to Henry Cavill's character.
Because he's talking with Hunley, which is Alec Baldwin, about his mission, and then the CIA director comes up and says, "No. I don't trust you. Yeah. I'm gonna put my guy with you. Ethan Hunt, you're the scalpel. I'm bringing the hammer right now." And it's Henry Cavill, and he's much taller than Tom Cruise.
Plus, like that's actually a really good way of categorizing these two characters.
Yes.
As well as just like these two people in general, because like sure, Ethan Hunt is very quick, he's very concise, he's able to get very precise things done. But with Henry Cavill, especially when Alec Baldwin when she tells him who he is, he goes like, "Oh yes, his reputation precedes him."
Yeah.
Where he basically goes in and he wrecks shop and he gets the job done.
Yeah.
Like he does it super like bombastic and everything like that.
They have an exchange on the plane where it's like, I wouldn't be here if you didn't
screw up your mission.
With the plutonium. And it's like, well, I wouldn't have to be here if you didn't kill every single apostle agent that you came across.
Right,
so
because he could have kept one alive to interrogate and question, but he just goes like, nope, he just killed them all. And there's a good reason why. It's because like the twist is that he is an apostle.
Yeah, he's
basically
isn't he John Lark?
Yeah, he's John Lark.
Yeah, he's John Lark. Yeah, that's the twist.
So that's the twist.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah,
that's not really. We're talking about the film,
right?
But like the scene where they're face to face in the plane as they're about to jump off.
Because like they're getting their suits on and stuff, and like I have this all written down too of being like not Henry Cavill, but Ethan Hunt is talking to Walker and he's telling him about like the suit, the heads up display and stuff. He goes like, your heads up display has a built-in guidance system. Follow it to the target. Open your chute when the system says, not before and definitely not after, or the last thing that goes through your mind will be your kneecaps.
Your kneecaps.
Is that clear? And he goes like, crystal.
Hey, your heads-up display is a built-in guidance system. Follow it. To the target, open your chute when the system says not before and definitely not after. Or the last thing that goes through your mind will be your kneecaps. Is that clear? Crystal.
And so I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like, and again, like, throughout this whole movie, it's super quick. It's super on point. Like, you don't miss anything that happens.
Like, Walker and Ethan disagree on things, but they don't
yeah.
spend like 3 minutes hashing out their disagreements.
Right.
You can tell that these guys don't like each other just from their like what they're about. You know,
Oh, yeah.
what other characters say about
Yeah,
them.
because even
You can tell that these guys will not get along.
Yeah, because even at one point during the movie, Walker tells Hunt of being like, "Look, if it's between saving the plutonium or saving you, I'm going after the plutonium."
Yeah.
And he just goes like, "Same, likewise." and so like
Again,
because
short, snappy.
that's the mission though. That's the mission, is to get the plutonium so that way they don't have this huge global devastation that will occur if the plutonium actually gets into the wrong hands.
I like how Henry Cavill kind of put Walker pokes fun at Ethan's tactics of like, you know, we're going to like swap out with all these swaps and stuff like that. It's like people really fall for this shit,
right?
And it's like it kind of like deconstructs like a lot of what's happened in the previous films. Like, really,
because
that's what the audience is thinking, or like someone who isn't really a big fan of these films, like, really, like another mission that's like this, and like they're using masks and stuff. Like, wouldn't somebody fall? Like, if people were trying to analyze, like, overanalyze this stuff, So like he's sort of the person that's like trying to address those criticisms, basically, or he's the voice for those criticisms. And it's like, that's kind of cool. It's kind of fun because when like, an outside character comes into the operation and is like, this seems kind of dumb. Do we have to do all this? Especially when it works for him, because again, he's this guy who's like, I know nonsense. I'm just gonna kill everybody.
Right.
You know?
Like I'm the brute force that is going
Special
to basically get whatever
CIA
I need done.
Agent.
Yeah, because Ethan is telling him about like what the plan is to go after Lark. They're gonna scan his face. He's gonna basically drug him to where it looks like that he's just another drunk at the party, and steal his wristband. He's gonna put his mask, like his face on, and he's going to pretend to be.
He's
Lark.
gonna put his face on.
Yeah, and he like what you said, when Walker just goes like, really, people will actually fall for this shit, and especially where what's her face, his director is talking about like, talking about that nobody wants these guys running around like it's Halloween, like wearing masks and stuff.
Yeah,
so
IMF really is Halloween. Yeah,
and so like but yeah, I thought it would have been interesting if we would have seen when they jump out of the plane, like the heads-up display that they were talking about. I think that would have been a little bit better. Just do like a couple seconds of the heads-up display so that we know where they're supposed to go and stuff.
Yeah,
but I almost feel like it's kind of better if they don't as well.
Yeah.
Because like right before they're about to jump out, Ethan walks up to the edge and like he sees a storm cloud,
a thunderstorm,
and he goes like, walks back to Walker and he goes like, "Hey, I think that we should talk. There's going to be like
we probably need to delay this.
Yeah, like there's a lightning storm." And he goes like, "Get out of my way!" Unplugs
his oxygen cord and just jumps out of the plane.
Yeah, and he goes like, "I'll meet you in Paris," and jumps out. I'm like, dude, that's such a dick move. And like they're falling, and so like Ethan finally gets his hose back into his mask and he jumps out, and because like when Walker puts on his gear, he doesn't have his oxygen on yet.
Yeah, he didn't turn it on right.
Yeah, and so he just goes like, "Wait, do you have your oxygen on?" And he goes like, "I don't need you passing out because there's no atmosphere up here." So he turns it on, and so like you see the
fog
mask,
lift, yeah.
Yeah, you see the fog on the mask, and then once the oxygen hits, then it clears up.
Yes. Because
so like I thought that was actually really good.
I also like that he doesn't know immediately how to do it.
Yeah.
I like how they pointed that out. It's like, because I mean, oftentimes it's so easy just to be like, oh, everyone knows the deal. It's like there's no issues like that, but like that creates a little bit more friction there.
Oh, yeah.
Between the two characters instead of just him knowing exactly how to put it on. It's just like it upplays the importance of the oxygen mask, and like, hey, we're pretty high altitude,
right?
Without,
like there's no atmosphere
like
up
they
here,
say,
so we can't breathe.
But it also like highlights the danger of the situation.
Yeah,
that it's again raising the stakes. It's showing how dangerous it is.
Oh yeah, because then like Ethan finally jumps out of the plane, and he just goes like, because Walker tells him like, "What, are you afraid of a little lightning?" And then immediately he gets
struck by lightning.
And then I like the fact that when they do get struck by lightning, that Ethan is falling and then there's no sound.
Yes.
Like, it's just quiet.
Yeah, there is music, and then all of a sudden it stops.
Yeah,
like that
it just instantly stops as soon as the lightning strikes. Yeah, and then he's falling, and he wakes up, and then he sees that Walker is, like, passed out.
What's the matter, hon? Afraid of a little lightning?
Altitude 20,000 feet.
You bitch.
So
And he
over.
realizes that his oxygen tank isn't connected to his mask anymore,
and he can't,
or it's damaged.
It's either damaged or he can't connect it. And it's just like, I can't do this right now. We're falling through the air. It wouldn't be
and
easy.
so what he ends up doing is like taking off his oxygen, putting it onto Walker, putting his hose back into his mask so that way he can finally have oxygen.
Yeah.
And then like you hear overhead of going like, pull the chute.
Or it's like rapidly you hear the decrease in altitude, like the warnings, and it's like like deploy.
Yeah, and so
and
then increases the intensity of going like pull it.
Yeah.
And like he pulls out Walker's first, and then he does his, and then he lands just like right on the tip of the building.
Yeah.
And so like he gets down, and then he rolls off the glass and everything from the roof. And then here comes Walker. He comes down,
and
then he
notices.
Yeah, and so like, especially when he lands, he instantly grabs the chute and then starts rolling it up so that way it doesn't fly away. And he looks at Ethan and he just goes like, "Oh, you lost your oxygen." Like he taps it and he just goes like, "I just saved your fucking life, asshole."
He doesn't even say that.
No.
But you can tell by the look that he said that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here, not the dog on Hobbs and Shaw, but I feel like at Hobbs and Shaw, they would have taken at least a minute after they landed to, like, start going at each other. It's like, looks like you lost your oxygen. Instead, they just cut right to, again, you can, like, all the looks that he is giving him is all you need to tell, bless you, that
thank you.
You can tell what he's thinking. He doesn't have to say it, right?
Oh yeah.
They don't dwell on. Let's just move on, you know. Even Hunt. Let's just move on. You know?
Yeah, I did write it down. Like, looks like you lost your oxygen, and like it's like, yeah, because I gave it to you, dumb fuck, like asshole.
I wonder if if he knew or if he didn't know.
No, he probably didn't, because then he just realized like, oh yeah, you lost your oxygen. And it's all like, no, I didn't lose it. You're the one that has it, asshole.
Like, do you not? Could you not tell that you passed out or something?
That was the other thing too. Is all like he passed out, and then like as soon as Ethan hits his chute and it's open, he's awake again. And I'm like, what? Like, how the hell did that happen? I'm like, maybe he got jolted awake because
I think Ethan Hunt is just built different.
Yes, he really is. But yeah, like now they're in the building and stuff, and now they're trying to get this stuff done in the bathroom because they have two phones that are connected to his wristband.
Yeah, so
and they're like trying to find out who he is. And so like I do like the fact that they're in the crowd and Walker's telling him like, "Hey, I know where Lark is. Like he's over in this direction." And Ethan can barely hear him.
Like, what?
And then they reach the bathroom. And so Ethan doesn't even look at the phone. Well, I think he does, but with Walker, sorry, I forgot his name for a second there. Walker like looks at him and he just goes like, nods like, okay, he's in there.
Yeah, I get.
And then especially when there's guys walking out and he looks at the phone and he looks up at Ethan and he just goes like, no, like he shakes his head.
Yeah.
Like very subtly, he just goes like, no. And they do that throughout this whole thing up until like they see Lark, and then when Ethan comes around the corner and he sees him, and then he goes back and he takes out the syringe and he's about to inject him, and then somebody walks in because like he's washing his hands and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got Walker on the other side of the bathroom where he's like washing his hands. Like he doesn't even use soap; he just washes them off, and then he grabs and he just so subtly just grabs the paper towel and just starts like dabbing his hands and stuff. And I'm all like, that's pretty funny.
It is really
he just
funny.
like daintily goes like, okay.
Again, it goes to show that Walker has absolutely no subtlety.
He doesn't.
Right? He's not.
Like he doesn't act normal. Like he's this big, huge, burly guy.
I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of missed that. I kind of missed that little detail.
Oh, which speaking of, before we actually get further into this, have you seen Justice League? Like the
Yes.
Joss Whedon one?
Yeah.
So you know, like how horrible the face was for Superman.
Yeah.
Do you know the reason for that?
Why?
It's because of this movie.
Oh, really?
Because he had his mustache for this movie. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like he had the stubble and then he had his mustache. And when they were doing reshoots, they're like, well, you got to lose the mustache. And he goes like, I can't. I'm playing a character in another movie. So, and he needs a mustache. So it's going to be weird if I just show up and I don't have my mustache anymore. So they just CGI'd his face.
Oh, that's terrible.
So that's why. So, and then I'll cut to a clip of Henry Cavill's fake ass fucking face.
Does your thing really stand for hope?
Yes, it does.
But it looks like an S.
Yes, it's meant to. It's meant to wind like a river. It comes and goes.
Like, it's so gross. Like, I watched it the first time in theaters, and I was like, why does he look like that? And then, like, the news came out that, like, he was filming this, like, because they got Justice League done, but then, like, because Zack Snyder had to walk away halfway through the movie, they got Josh Whedon, so then they had to do a bunch of reshoots.
That is a shitty movie detail.
It is. Like, that's the reason why that he had his CGI face in that movie, because of that reason. So, because Josh Whedon wanted to do reshoots. So
now I got to watch the Joss Whedon as
Justice League
again, just so I can see that bad face. Matter of fact, show me after the pod is done, just so I can like
just
take
see
a look
it.
at it. Yeah, just because I want to.
You don't need to watch the movie. It's just
I just want
horrible.
to see it. I just want to see the
and
face.
I think that there are certain parts that they used for like Zack Snyder's version, like when Josh Whedon got attached to it after.
Yeah.
That like his face looks normal, but then there's other parts to where it just looks like it's weird. So it's fucking ridiculous.
Oh,
but
boy.
But yeah, so like Ethan actually goes to take the syringe and inject it into him, but I can't remember what happens. I think that the guy catches on.
Yeah,
like Lark
he does,
catches on
because they were too slow.
Yeah, and then like because he catches on to what they're doing, and then he knocks the syringe out of Ethan's hand and basically beat his ass to the floor. And then Walker just immediately grabs the case to where that they need the computer to get the mask, and he smashes it,
and it breaks the case.
Yeah, so like he smacks him in the face with it, and then it breaks, and then now they can't use it anymore.
Ethan's like, "Where's the syringe?" It's like, "Do we really need it anymore?"
Yeah, he goes like, "We don't need it." And so then they drag him into the stall, and because there's a group of guys that come in,
it's just like,
and then it's so like Ethan's trying to get the computer to work to where that they can make the mask.
So
and then especially where you have a group of like 5 guys that are in there, and so one of them notices that like there's a bunch of feet in one stall,
in
and so then they start
because like the men's bathroom too.
Yeah, because like they're speaking French, but there's subtitles, and then they're like, "Come on, let us in! Like we promise we don't bite. Like we want to join the fun too," because they think that like something sexual is happening in there.
Yeah.
But really, like they're both like holding the door,
and
like
then
closed.
They walk out singing La Vie en Rose.
Yeah, and then they walk out of the bathroom, and then Lark wakes up, and then Ethan's just like looking behind, and he looks back, and they lock eyes. And then instantly, Lark goes to fucking town on them. Like he kicks Ethan out of the stall, breaks it.
This is the strongest person in the world, apparently, because he rips a pipe out of the wall.
Yeah,
he smashes them through the
and there's no water all over the floor or anything. He just rips it out of the wall like nothing.
And like this guy is 2v1, like 1v2ing these guys handily. Like he punches Walker in the throat.
Oh yeah, I thought that was awesome because he flips him and then he just punches him right in the throat. He goes like, "Oh."
They get slimed out.
And then like they get the dog shit beaten out of them, and it was like when Walker gets kicked back into like the other side of the bathroom, and especially when he pulls the pipe out, and now he's got it up to Ethan's throat. And then, like, this is the thing that I was talking about when
he does the arm reload.
Yeah, when he gets up, he takes off his jacket and he just does the arm reload, just boom, boom. And I'm like, let's fucking go. And then he does the boxer stance and he comes up and he's just like, boom, 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 just doing 2 left hooks, doing a right, and then just like keep doing that as a combo. And like especially where he's locked in, so he's all like, boom, left, right, duck, left, right, left, and then duck, and then it's all like, dude, like that's super quick. But then Lark ends up getting the upper hand on him for a second, and when they're rummaging around on the floor, with him and Ethan, Lark finds his gun, and so he grabs it, and so he's about to shoot Ethan in the head.
And then he gets shot in the head, right?
Yeah, and then he gets shot instead. No, he gets shot through the face, actually, because his head explodes, basically.
Yeah,
because then
Ilsa comes in.
Yeah, because then we have Ilsa come in.
Ilsa Faust, who was from the last movie.
Yeah, and so like she comes in, and so Walker just goes like, "So, are we still gonna make the mask?" And he goes like, "Well, I kind of need a face to make the mask." And so he just goes like, "Oh, right." And then they just drag his body into the stall.
And there's a bunch of blood on the floor.
Yeah, there's a bunch of blood, and there's a trail that leads back into the stall.
And like Henry Cavill has to like step around it too.
Yeah, and because like Ethan takes his phone out of his pocket because he's like rummaging around in there.
It's smashed.
Yeah, and it's smashed, and that's a actual good detail, because later on when Walker goes back to talk to his handler for the CIA, that he gives him the phone, but it's looks like it's brand new.
Yeah,
like there's not a scratch on it, and so it's supposed to basically be that he's Lark, but he's pointing the direction that Ethan Hunt is actually Lark.
Yes,
he's actually a double agent and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's betraying his country and whatever, but when they're talking and stuff, and like some guys walk in,
and then Ilsa holds Walker's head.
Yeah. And he just goes like, "Yep, keep it up, keep it elevated." And so Ethan walks up and he goes like, "Yeah, do you guys want some too?"
Yeah, it's like it looks like he has a nosebleed, and then you see the puddle of blood on the
I'm
floor.
all like, "What the hell?"
That is the craziest nosebleed I've ever seen.
I was gonna say, yeah. But I did like the fact that like when they're running around Paris, which you still need to see John Wick Chapter 4, because there's a part in the movie that takes place in Paris. Like towards the end of the movie, it takes place in Paris.
Yeah.
So when Walker is talking to his handler from the CIA, they're talking in the exact same part as at the end of John Wick Chapter 4.
Really? Okay.
I was all like, "Oh fuck, it's this place!" And then like, especially where Ethan is running around with the motorcycle because like they're trying to get out of the city and stuff.
Right.
There's the roundabout with the arch.
The Arc de Triomphe, yes.
Yeah. And so like that's in John Wick Chapter 4 as well.
Yeah, it's a very famous landmark, Devin.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm saying that like I was like, "Oh fuck, that's in John Wick too."
Whoa, the Arc de Triomphe. It's
but
like
I
in
know
a million
that's an
things.
historical landmark.
It's the Arc de Triomphe from John Wick 4. Oh my god. It's a piece of architecture, Devin.
I know it is.
It's like saying, "Whoa, that's the Eiffel Tower. It's been in this film." It's like, yes, it's the Eiffel Tower, Devin.
I know.
Yep. Yes.
But one of the things that I did actually take away from this movie was that when Ethan finds the Black Widow,
White Widow.
Yeah, the White Widow, where they're talking about this plan that they're trying to get to.
Because at this point, Ethan is posing as Lark because it's like they're banking on the fact that they never met before. Because John Lark is Asian.
Yeah.
And the guy they fought in the bathroom was John Lark. He's Asian. He looks nothing like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Or Ethan. So they have to.
Yeah, because even Walker is flabbergasted. He just goes like, "Wait, you're just gonna go off a chance?" And he goes like, "That's all we got."
Yeah, that's a big theme in this movie is that like a lot of stuff that happens with IMF sort of just happens by chance, and people have a problem with that. It's like that's the biggest conflict between like the powers above them. Is like, well, we can't let you do this because it just seems like you just sort of gamble a lot. That
well, like even earlier in the movie where Alec Baldwin is giving him his mission, like to go after the plutonium and stuff, where he goes like, "You risked one life for millions." And he goes like, I actually like that because like instead of sacrificing millions, you decided to save your team. And he goes like, that's a good thing to me because that means that you're willing to put your ass on the line, and then that means that you're willing to cover my ass.
Yeah.
So and he goes like, get this job done.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so like especially with Walker, he's just gonna get it done no matter what. Like regardless of who he has to sacrifice or whatever. Like he would rather sacrifice 20 guys on his team just to get the 5 guys that are on there to get the job done, whatever it is. So but like what was I gonna say? Oh, like the whole thing with Lane where he's being held by police custody. And so Ethan goes to meet with the White Widow and her brother, where they have the plutonium.
They have one of the plutonium cores.
Well, they know where the other two are too.
But they only have
the one in their possession, because he goes like, well, I heard that you had the plutonium, and so she goes like, no, I'm the broker. I'm the person that's in between the transaction to set stuff up. Like, you give me the money, and then I give you the location to where the plutonium is, and I tell the buyer where you guys should meet.
Yes,
and that's it. And so like she's the middleman of the transaction, and so like they go through the mission to what they're going to do to take out Lane, because that's what they want. They want to get Lane,
which is basically just boxing in a police convoy.
Yeah.
And then
in an armored truck,
killing literally everybody.
And then so like, especially where it is just playing over music. But one of the things that I thought was interesting, that like, you think that it's real, you think it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Because Ethan takes off his mask to open the door, and then there's a guy that's behind him, and he shoots the police officer, and then he comes walking up, he takes his mask off, and there's a bunch of guys surrounding him, and then he just shoots the cop, and then it cuts to the original moment.
Scene. It's like,
and he goes like, so basically your idea is just to kill everybody. They're like, yeah, pretty much. Like, leave no witnesses.
Yeah.
So
I was like, do you have a problem with that? It's like, no, I
killed women and children with smallpox.
I have no line.
Yeah.
It's like, because like, it's the conflict is like, okay, now he has to not only break this guy out who was the villain in the last movie, who knows who he is, by the way.
Yeah.
Now he has
to, because even Walker says that too, and he goes like, doesn't he know you though? And he just goes like, no, but I got a plan for that.
No, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it, basically, is what he says. So he has to basically find a way to get Solomon out of there without killing anybody, because that's their plan. So he has to make a new plan
to pivot around,
but also
their
at
plan.
The same time still pretending
to be Lark.
Which again sets up a huge conflict, because it's like, okay, how is he going to pull this off?
Yeah,
you ask yourselves that a lot. It's like, oh, how is he going to pull this off? You know,
right? Yeah, because
how's he going to get out of this one? You know?
Right, and so like the convoy's coming through, the police convoy and stuff, and they set up roadblocks and stuff by like tipping over a semi. Or
no, they just box him in, and then they kill him.
Like because like they're going down the street, and then somebody comes up.
Oh, that's right.
And they roll the semi.
Because they basically cut off the route and then make him go a different route.
Right, which they're at to box them in underneath the bridge. And so like Ethan plans it perfectly to where he just guns the truck right into the armored truck, pushes the truck into the water, into the lake,
and then the guys that are in the back of the truck are just getting like tossed around.
Yeah, and so like my thing that I was saying earlier was like, the one thing that I took away from this movie is the breathing technique that Lane does. So he takes a few gasps of air, and then he takes a big breath, and then he's able to hold his breath. I actually found this out. I don't remember how, but I found this out after watching this, that you're able to hold your breath a lot longer
if you take multiple breaths instead of taking one big breath.
Yeah, because
it's about filling up capacity, right?
Right. Yeah, because like you're shortening and expanding your lungs very rapidly, to where the final like breath you take in is supposed to expand your lungs even more. And so that way that you can hold your breath underwater a lot longer. And so that's what he did. And I'm like,
that's
damn.
cool. That's realistic.
That's actually a really interesting thing.
That's
cool something
detail.
that he would do, because he used to be a secret operative, and then he turned into a terrorist basically.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's really cool. But
that is a cool detail. I like that.
And so they basically get him out. They are driving around now. And especially the part where they open up the where they get into the car, and they open up like the doors to basically get in the car and leave. And then there's just a cop that's just standing there going like, wait a second. And so like they're both just like, who's gonna make the first move? And so like Ethan goes to like de-escalate her, and also at the same time, Walker takes out his pistol off to the side to where nobody can see it, because he goes like, if anything, I'm going to shoot her so we can leave. And then she ends up getting shot. And I was all like, what the hell? And then like then there's the
Four
white,
other guys.
yeah, the White Widow
Goons.
goons there. So Ethan shoots all of them, and because like they're gonna shoot him, or no, he goes like, oh, like, you know, so and so needs to speak with you, and he goes like, okay, and then he shoots all four of them.
Yeah.
And then he calls for the officer to get help.
Yeah. Tell him you need backup, basically. I think is what he says in French.
Basically, yeah. Like, tell him that you're down, that you need help.
He says, I'm sorry.
And then so, I think, doesn't she get shot too and die?
No.
Okay, no.
No, just a random police officer.
Yeah.
No, she's still alive.
Right.
Which is like, what just happened?
Right.
You know?
But like, I did think that this was also really cool for a car chase scene because Isla is on a motorcycle chasing after them.
In like clad in black helmet, you can't see her face.
And so like she is on top of this bridge, and so she starts shooting at them.
Yeah.
And because like they met in Paris when they're doing Lark and trying to get to the White Widow originally, and he's asking her like, "What are you doing here?" And she goes like, "I can't tell you that.
I have to kill Lane."
Yeah. And so like, so she starts shooting at Lane in the car, and so like it looks like that he was shot in the head.
Yeah.
But like because then they go underneath the bridge, they stop, and Ethan just yells at everybody like, get out of the car. So then he takes off with Lark in the, or not Lark, but with
Lane.
Yeah,
Lane. I wish they would choose a different name.
Right.
For Lark. I wish it would be something else instead
like
of
Simmons
Lane,
or
Lark, Lane. It just makes it hard to talk about which is which.
And so like he takes off the hood of Lane, and so he's still alive. He just got clipped in the ear. That was about the only thing. So,
I like how
she missed.
By the way, I like how Solomon Lane is scruffed up.
Yeah,
I look how like, he's disheveled. You know, he's growing like a gray
and
beard
also the fact he's just like quiet the whole time. He's just like
in Rogue
bouncing
Nation,
around and stuff.
He was very clean cut.
Yeah,
it almost looks like he's a different person. I like that because of course he.
And it also
like
shows how long it's been since he's been in police custody too.
He's been passed around from country to country because everyone wants like more secrets from them about like the agents that have turned.
Yeah.
So he's just been like basically passed around. Like instead of going like straight back to like London for like MI6 that they want him.
Yeah.
So like I believe the thing is MI6 wants Lane, and they sent Ilsa to go get him, but she wants to kill him instead so that she doesn't have to like deal with MI6 anymore, basically.
Yeah, because she was brainwashed by him.
Yeah.
Pretty much in the last movie, but
no, she was undercover.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, she was an undercover operative with him, and so MI6 doesn't trust her anymore because she's got all of his secrets.
Yeah,
and she's just as good as he is about how to disappear and how to like infiltrate governments and stuff like that.
But yeah, I did really like this chase scene because like he's able to drive around the city without knowing specifically where he's going.
Yeah.
All he knows is that like he just needs to get to the point that he needs to leave. And he's like drifting around corners, and like especially if there's a car coming down like a single lane, he'll hit the e-brake and then swerve into like down another street and stuff.
Very cool driving.
So, and like especially when he goes off the stairs and he goes in backwards, I was all like, why did he do that? But I guess it's to like get better traction to like go in the direction that they needed to, because otherwise if you were to go down and then swerve, there's likelihood that you are going to actually like swerve, crash into something and stuff. I'm like, that was actually pretty smart. So like that was cool. And then getting towards the end of the movie is like where Walker is revealed to be Lark, because they make this whole ordeal of where Alec Baldwin comes in and he is basically
terminated.
Yeah, he's confronting the team and he goes like, this mission is terminated. Guys, go home. We're going to deal with this when we get back to the States, because they want to do an investigation under Hunt, because now everything is pointing that he is Lark.
There's a bunch of evidence that have shown up by the CIA is fabricating a story that Hunt is a double agent, basically.
Right, that he is Lark and he is the main apostle that they were looking for. And like their plan was to have Benji pretend to be Lane.
Yeah.
And because they make the mask out of his face, and what they were going to do was trade Lane for the plutonium because the White Widow has the plutonium.
Yeah.
And so that was the idea. And then Alec Baldwin comes in and goes like, nope, we're not doing this. Like, we're going home, blah, 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 blah. And Ethan basically injects him with the sleeping agent. And he just goes like, all right, because even with Walker, he's all like, what the hell are you doing? And he just goes like, hold on. He's going to be knocked out for the next few minutes. We have to make this drop. If we don't, the plutonium's in the wind, and nothing that we've done so far is going to be done.
He's like, are you in or are you out?
And he goes like, I'm in.
I'm in.
And so he just goes like, cool, we're going to do this. Keep an eye on Lane. He goes like, all right, you got it. And as soon as they walk away, he turns off the computer and he turns off the camera.
Yeah.
And he goes in and he starts talking to Lane about like what's been going on. And he goes like, well, I was wondering when you were going to actually you were biding your time essentially to like save me. And he just goes like, well, yeah, because I had to make sure that they all trusted me enough to where like we got to this point. And
I like how they don't come right out and say it like, yeah, I'm
right,
the bad guy. Like, you can't like, wait, what's going on?
Right.
What's happening? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like with context clues of their conversation, it's all like, no, I am Lark. And like especially when Benji like basically kind of fucks up by saying something, and he like Walker instantly turns back and he just rips the mask in half off of his face. He just goes like, gotcha. And then Alec Baldwin is right behind him. He goes like, you didn't think they would fall for that, did you? And like he's got the gun.
It brings back to that line of like, do people really fall for this shit?
Right. And so
Such
then
a good callback.
Yeah, and then especially for the fact that like where Walker takes the gun away from Alec Baldwin and he just starts shooting at him. He just goes like, oh, did you really think that gun was going to be loaded? And he takes out another gun and he goes like, but I think this one is.
Yeah.
You want to try?
And then he gives the unloaded gun to Benji and then he loads it.
No, Benji takes the gun from him.
That's what I mean.
And then he loads it and he cocks it and stuff. And I'm like, dude, this fucking shit was awesome.
It's such a good twist.
Yeah, and then especially where they're all talking to each other and like he starts talking about like, yeah, I'm Lark, blah 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 blah, whatever. Like this is me. And Alec Baldwin just goes like, did you get all that? And she goes like, yeah, I did. And so she goes like, I thought that something was off when he said that, because he said that, oh, somebody gave the information to the CIA about Hunt being Lark.
Yeah.
But yet she knows that he's the one that gave him the evidence.
Yeah.
And stuff. So so she goes like, well, we'll have to talk about this when you come back.
And then click.
Yep. And then so
click, lights
all
go
of
out.
The lights go out. There's a team that comes in.
Just
and
a
so he
squad
goes
of
like,
CIA.
and then Baldwin goes like, what the hell is this?
We
and
had a
she
deal.
goes like, well, the deal's off now because now we're just going to have you all come in. We're going to find out who's who.
We're going to find out which,
So, and then, so she gets off the phone.
Keep your friends rich and your enemies rich and wait to find out which is which.
Yeah. And so then Walker basically just goes like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. And then he goes like, go.
Go.
And he goes like, go. And then like a few, like, well, no, like they're already a part of that team.
Yeah,
and so they just like turn around and they start killing a bunch of the other guys. So, but yeah, then like I did like the chase scene that happens when Ethan is trying to get to Walker. And so like, which I don't know if you know this, but did you know that when he's running through the buildings and stuff, right? And then Benji tells him like, okay, take a left. Well, he tells him to turn right when he's in an office building. And he just goes like, right? Are you sure? And he goes like, nope, sorry, it's left. I had the screen lock on, so it was upside down. And he just goes like, left. And he looks out the window again and he just goes like, are you sure that it's left? And he goes like, yeah. And he was like, all right. So then like this lady, he's like looking at her. And so she gets up and he goes like, thank you, grabs a chair, throws it out. And so he goes like, what are you waiting for? Just go. And he goes like, I'm jumping out of a window.
What are you waiting for? I'm jumping out a window. What do you mean you're jumping out of a... Oh, sorry, I had it in 2D. Good luck.
And he goes like, oh, so he moves the camera and he goes like, I had it in 2D.
Sorry.
So best of luck. And so, like there's this lady that I also noticed that like, she's like, oh my God. And so she just like nods her head going like, go for it. I'm just like, what the fuck? But before that, so like when the White Widow's like guys, goons are like chasing after him.
Yeah.
When he jumps from the rooftops, like he jumps from one roof to the other, that's like a really long, far jump.
Yeah.
As soon as he like, because of course like he misses, and so like he hangs off the side of it. He broke his ankle at that point.
Ooh.
Here he goes, and boom.
So they had to push production like a few months for his recovery.
Okay.
So like you can literally see where the impact happened, because he jumps, he misses like because of the velocity that he's running at and stuff.
Yeah.
So like he hits his leg up against the wall and he breaks his ankle that way. So and I don't know if it's like when he gets up and then he starts like limping, if that's actually like the part that they left in that broke his ankle or what.
I don't know, because he just sort of like goes onto a full.
Well, I mean, like it cuts to him being on the roof and him like pulling himself up, and then he gets onto his feet. So I don't know if like they wanted to make it more authentic to him actually hurting himself, because he did yell like loud when that happened. So but yeah, otherwise. Let's get to the end of this, where it's the helicopter chase scene that happens.
No, but like there's one more important detail that I want to talk about before we get to the helicopter chase scene.
Okay.
It's like just before though. So they eventually, because they're tracking Walker because they put a tracker in his neck.
Yeah.
No, they're tracking Lane because they took out the like Interpol's like tracker in his neck and they put it in their own.
And then they put it in.
And
they
find out they're
in
going to Kashmir,
right.
which is important because it was the location that. There was like a smallpox outbreak that Lark started, and it's between China, India, and Pakistan. Right. It's like three, like if so.
Because they only have 2 plutonium.
Because their plan is to explode a nuclear bomb in that point, which will poison the water, like irradiate the water, because there's a lot of natural water that's around there.
Yeah.
And basically like starve a third of the population.
Right. Yeah.
But they go there, and as they're trying to drive there, it's like. Why is it in a medical center? I don't really understand. And eventually find out there's 2 reasons for that one. Number one, because it's a medical center, they have a lot of irradiated objects around there, so it's going to be hard for them to find the plutonium core. But the second reason is that, guess what? Who's there working? It's Julia. It's Ethan Hunt's wife.
Well, his ex-wife.
His ex-wife, yes. And so that when it hit me that's what she was like, oh no.
Yeah, because Walker tells him that like, oh, the next time I see you, I'm gonna kill her because I'm her guardian angel.
Ooh, and then his Julia's new husband, who is a doctor, they're doing some they're inoculating basically villagers around the area of Kashmir from pox and smallpox, and it's like, yeah, we just got this cool little trip to be able to come here, and we got a bunch of funding for this project to be able to do it. And so our guardian angel, it's like, oh no.
And he goes like, fuck.
And
he goes like, that's the reason why that they're there. Because especially when Ethan and Julia see each other,
they're like,
he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And like she's like also at the same time going like, what the hell is he doing? He wouldn't be here if he wasn't on a mission right now.
You could see in her face like moments of like, oh, she's happy, but then she's like all of a sudden like, oh no. Why is he here?
The sudden realization that he's actually there for something.
And then as soon as he goes away to like, yeah, we'll give you a drive back to like Tuck or like Terp Tuck or whatever it's called. Yeah. And then it's just like, I'm so sorry. And then they immediately run off because they're going to go find. There's 2 plutonium devices, and they can't be disarmed.
Right.
Until the countdown starts, and after the switch has been taken out of the detonator.
Yeah.
So if they try to do that beforehand, they blow up, and there's huge nuclear explosion.
Right.
So anyway, we got to go chase
Henry Cavill
in the helicopter. Yeah.
But I did like the fact that like this whole sequence that happens is that Ethan is climbing up the rope, because I think it's like medical supplies or like laundry or something that there's hanging like below the helicopter in a giant like net ball.
Yeah.
And he's climbing up the rope. He gets to the top underneath the helicopter and he loses balance, and then he falls, and then he's hanging off underneath the ball of the net, and he climbs back up. He gets into the helicopter and he takes out the guys, and he's never flown a helicopter before, so he starts talking to Benji and Luther about like how to basically like what's going on, and then he loses them because he's out of range.
Yeah.
So then he's trying to figure out like, okay, what do we got? Okay, we got thrust, we got power, like all this bunch of stuff, and then like everything kind of clicks with him, and he just goes like, all right, and he gets the idea to drop the net under like on top of Henry Cavill's helicopter. He just goes like power and just like takes a huge like pull on
it pulls up on the joystick.
Yeah, and so then he just goes up, and then like he just drops it because he goes like, okay, payload. How do I drop the payload? And then like it says it on the joystick of payload, and so like okay, then he has the idea of going like, wait, power, thrust, power, and so he just pulls it. It just goes up, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's funny. And the whole time Henry Cavill is none the wiser because he's not looking behind him.
Doesn't even realize.
Because like he's just looking forward, just go like, yeah, we're on our way, blah blah blah, whatever. But they've got 15 minutes to disarm the bombs.
Yes, that's
because again, that's the thing.
Tension. Yeah. 15 minutes, very very set in stone.
Yeah.
Instead of
because
like, it's 2 hours.
Even with Lane, he tells Henry Cavill like, I'll give you 15 minutes to leave because that's how much time that you'll have to get out, to get to a safe distance.
Yeah.
And he goes like, well, what about you? And he goes like, I've already lived my life. Like this was me living my life, is to make this moment happen. And so then they decided to do that, and so he decided to stay behind. But the whole helicopter chase scene is awesome because Henry Cavill realizes finally that it's Ethan that's in the other helicopter, and Ethan just goes like, yeah, that's right, I'm here, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, you
and
prick.
Yeah, and so Henry Cavill just goes like, huh. And so like I just love his subtlety for certain things. Like he just goes like, okay, and so he goes to the back, grabs a machine gun,
a heavy machine gun,
and then like he just turns, and then Ethan just goes like, shit, and he flies off, and then he's all like, and so he starts shooting at him.
A lot of genuine reactions in this.
Oh yeah.
In this,
plus,
like,
I also
it's not fake.
Plus,
that's right. Prick.
I also love that like in this movie they had the ratio change too. So I don't know if you've saw that, but
it was kind of hard to see on. Yeah. I was watching it on a TV, so it was a little hard to see.
So was I.
Yeah, but like I was sitting a little bit further back from the TV, so
it's subtle, but like especially in this scene specifically where they keep cutting back and forth between them doing the bombs and then Ethan in the helicopter, because it's such a big huge part of the movie that they have the IMAX cameras, and that's why that the ratio changes, especially when they're planning on to doing all this bunch of stuff. Like you see the ratio change and the screen gets bigger.
See, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's a good thing that I didn't notice that, because like people who
sometimes it's annoying if you don't realize it.
No, it's sometimes it's not just annoying, it's infuriating when movies just cut back and forth between ratio changes seemingly at random.
Yeah.
But
they do it pretty well in this because like they had a certain ratio that they had just the basic stuff that happens in the movie, and then the giant like big bombastic scenes that happen, like in the helicopters or like in the plane when they're dropping into Paris,
or the chase scene,
or the chase scene. So like all that stuff is really cool.
It adds to the spectacle, you know.
Right.
That's good. That's filmmaking techniques sort of working together to create an awesome moment.
Right. So, but like, yeah, his helicopter's under fire because Henry Cavill shoots at the fuel.
So it starts catching fire, and then
and so
because this whole time it's like, how are you going to get into the other helicopter? Ethan, you're flying a helicopter. How are you going to get into the other one to get the?
So they end up. I don't remember. I think they end up just crashing into each other or something.
Yeah, they crash into each other, and then they land on a cliff basically, and the helicopter like bits are rolling. The pilot for Henry Cavill's helicopter dies, but there's a lot of crashes in these movies. It's like how are you not walking away with that with a broken neck?
Right. One of the things that I did like about this whole sequence is that like once the helicopters crash and stuff, Ethan is now inside of Walker's helicopter, and it's hanging off of a cliff, like in between, like a ravine or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like Ethan is holding on to the remote, and he just goes like, "Why don't you die?" And so then like the whole thing like drops.
Yeah.
And so Ethan falls out of the helicopter.
Oh yeah, it's that one scene where they're both vertical.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what's that film like?
128 hours.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
where the guy gets stuck in a
into a crevice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that reminds me of that.
Yeah. So, but like Ethan gets out of the helicopter, and then like when Walker is trying to climb up out of the helicopter,
He grabs-
the fuel.
Yeah, the fuel hose.
Yeah, the fuel hose like comes disconnected, and it burns the side of his face. And then he's just like, like that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty painful.
Yeah, and then
I like it was
when,
just like and then like you know.
Right, like especially when it's like revealed from one side of the face and then it reveals the other side. It's like
that is cool.
Oh shit! Like yeah, that really fucked him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fight, and then they're hanging off the side of the cliff.
The chassis of the helicopter is being held by a cable and a hook to a little crack in the ground. Is like,
Right.
Are you like really
like with the rock that's above
again
like, the walk
on like a razor's edge?
Yeah,
it's like,
and so like you see it like hooked onto one rock, and then it comes out and it hooks onto another, and then Ethan finally like grabs onto the mountain itself, and then like the hook lets go, and then it smacks
into his
Walker
forehead, and
into
then
the forehead, and then he falls with the elevator
and hits his head on the way down. Like he's dead.
Yeah, he's completely dead.
There's no ambiguity
because like the hook literally lodges itself into his forehead and drags him down.
It's not like how Idris Elba died in Hobbs and Shaw.
Right.
There's no ambiguity. No, he's dead.
He's just completely dead.
Like, thank you.
There's no question.
Thank you for making deaths like matter.
Oh yeah. And then like they're getting down to literally the wire.
The last couple seconds, and then
so
Ethan's climbing
Luther and Benji, they're talking about like, when do we cut the wire? Luther goes like at
wait
2 seconds.
Yeah.
And he goes like, well, why not 1 second? He goes, you want to cut it that close, like a 1 second difference?
Yeah.
And he goes like, well, if we do that, then that's a second that we won't get back. And so I love when Isla is talking about like, are we really arguing about like 1 second here? Like that's what I thought was funny, and especially where Julia is helping Luther with the bomb and stuff, but they finally, because Ethan is trying to climb up to the remote to take out the pin.
And like the great thing about this countdown is you could actually count the seconds from 10. It's like till maybe like the last 3 ones they slow it down a little bit, but it's realistic. Like this is like
this
10
is
seconds.
how long it would take.
Like most countdown like countdowns in certain movies and like even in like some TV shows are so bad that like it does not match the actual time that's being like elapsed
presented. Yeah.
So like if it was like real time, they all be dead.
Oh yeah.
Like Dragon Ball,
right?
5 minutes. I give you 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and the world is going to get destroyed, and then 20 episodes later,
this planet gets exploded. So that's but that's kind of silly in Dragon Ball. But like, there's some like serious films that have countdowns like that to a big explosive or a big event,
right?
That just
but like that's the reason why,
botch
especially in Dragon Ball Z Kai, like it's not more realistic, but they take out a lot of the stuff that is in the original Dragon Ball Z series. So they cut it a little bit shorter. They clean it up basically. They trim the fat.
But again, it adds to the tension. It's like and because the screen goes white,
right?
So you think, oh, did they not do it?
Because like at the last second they're like 1, and then they both clip, and then it just goes white, and then it just pans to Ethan with the fuse in his mouth.
Yeah,
he spits it out.
That's what I love about this film, particularly about Ethan Hunt's character. He has no plot armor.
No, he doesn't.
You're never convinced that Ethan's gonna come out of this one. He always comes out of this one.
Or it's always like, oh well, that's convenient. Blah blah blah. No, and it's all like no, like it just happens. Like
he could die at any of these moments.
Like he was going to die in the bathroom fighting Lark and with the gun. And because like Lark was about to shoot him because he had it pointed right at his head, and then all of a sudden Ilsa comes in and then shoots him instead.
But it's not lame though.
No, it's not.
It happens like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
It's never like it's always, oh, thank God, and like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Right? Those are the two differences between like something that happens to a character that saves them. It's either, oh, thank God, or oh, come on. Right? It's like, really, they're still alive. Like, how are they not dead? Basically, but no, it's never like that in these films. Like, these characters are, like, we like them. First of all, that certainly helps in the idea that, you know, they're not always being saved. But like, these are really high stakes, and the tension that builds up is natural, and it gets to the point where it's like you really think that something like this happened. Like in the opening scene, or not the opening scene, but the scene where they're talking to Dr. Delbrook. I actually thought those cities got nuked, and that's why this movie was called Fallout.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is actually like nuclear fallout, right? But no, it's fake. It totally caught me up because the stakes were so high and the tension was palpable.
Yeah.
And you could really realistically believe that something like that would happen because they lost the cores. Like that's a bad moment, and then it cuts to the consequence.
Oh yeah.
Right. But I enjoy the fact that Ethan Hunt is not he like it's never in the audience's mind that he's like this danger doesn't really matter because he's going to come out,
get out of it
anyways.
anyway.
Like you could rewatch these films like, oh, how did he get out of that, you know?
Right.
And it's never an expectation for the audience that they're going to succeed.
Yeah.
More than likely than not, it's going to be that they have a chance of succeeding.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference between like a character that always comes out on top, right? It's like because they're so high stakes and because they come down literally to the last second in this case, it's why it's so cathartic when we get to see, you know, Ethan hanging off the mountaintop with the trigger in his mouth.
Yeah.
And they're still alive. Mm-hmm. And it's so cool, you know?
Yeah, and especially they just cut it down right to the wire to where it's all like the last second. It's like, wait, did they do it? Like, what's happening? And then it opens out to him actually doing that.
It makes these movies so much more exciting to watch because it feels real, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point out that little detail. I wanted to mention it like earlier in the episode, but I just like that about the way that they write these movies and how they write Ethan Hunt's character.
Yeah. And
really the actions and the consequences of the whole series.
Right.
And stuff like that.
I did think that it was really funny that like at the end of the movie when Ethan is on like basically the hospital bed at the facility that they're at, that I think it was like Julia said something funny and then they all start laughing and then he goes like, "Don't make me laugh, like my ribs hurt."
Yeah,
and then it's over.
Cuts the credits.
So yeah, and then that's it for Mission Impossible Fallout. Now is the point of the show where we will give our consensus on this being a rent, buy, or a skip. Hence the reason why this is called RBS in the first place. So, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
Because
like you've seen this before, right?
No, this is my first time seeing it. I saw Ghost Protocol before in theaters.
Yeah. I've never seen any of them in theaters, and I've wanted to go and see Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and the last one.
Ghost Protocol was pretty cool in theaters when I went to go see it, from what I literally remember it. Because I remember I watched it again, and I was like, oh, I remember this part when I saw it in theaters. But like, for this film, I think that it's a buy.
Fuck yeah!
Okay.
Right? I think this
that actually surprised me when you said buy. I was just like, wait, holy shit.
Real,
because like especially not from the last one, but you hate movies that are in the middle of a franchise. Because like John Wick, you'd rather have that be a rent than a buy. It's not because it's not a bad movie. It's because that it's in the middle of a story and you kind of have to watch the other ones.
I need context for that.
Right.
These ones, you don't really need a lot of context.
Yeah, you don't really need the context because it's already in the movie anyway.
You could watch the most recent entry in, well, maybe not the most recent one, like Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, because those two movies are a pair.
Right.
But like, if you could watch, you could pick one movie if you haven't seen the other ones in the first 6.
Yeah.
And be like, cool, Because I think that's what happened with me when I watched Ghost Protocol. I didn't watch the first 3 movies, but I
Right.
knew about them. I knew because Mission Impossible.
Plus,
was so
like, you don't need
famous.
to watch those in order to understand what this story is about because it's not piggybacking off of something else.
But if you needed to buy, if you wanted to have a franchise that you wanted to buy and keep as a set, it's this one.
Oh yeah,
because they flow so well. They don't have to connect with one another to be able to be good films on their own.
Yeah,
right.
It's kind of like the James Bond movies too, like especially the Daniel Craig ones. Those are the only ones that I've seen.
I need to rewatch those.
It's kind of in the same vein of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies because they're all not connected to each other, like that, like specifically. Like you can watch any of them and still be fine with whatever one that you watch.
And again, this is the 6th movie
in
this franchise, and it was made within the last 10 years.
Right.
It's 2018, right?
Yeah.
Or
2019.
2019. Yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
So you would expect that a movie that was made that is like the furthest point in a franchise would kind of like diminish over time. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it. Like they're still making another one of these.
Yeah.
Not really the case with these films.
No, because I feel like that people get excited whenever they see Mission Impossible come out. They're like, dude, like another Mission Impossible? I can't wait to see what happens in this one.
Yeah, so
it's not like it's Fast and the Furious where like really another fucking Fast and the Furious or
yes.
another Marvel movie
again,
or
it's
whatever.
Like again, it's the oh thank God versus oh come on.
Yeah.
Right? No one's excited to see any more Fast and Furious movies because even just looking at the number can just make you not want to like watch any of the films.
Oh yeah.
This is it's teetering on okay, as long as they don't make any more after Final Reckoning, then we'll be fine. Right? But like 6 movies is a good amount of movies to have. I mean, you talk about like Star Wars, like 1, 2, 3, and then the prequels, and then 4, 5, and 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that's a good number. That's a good solid number of films. Yeah. Right. So that has that in its favor. But again, it's because the fact that they flow so well, and you don't really have to watch the previous ones to be able to drop right in and be able to watch it, and it still holds up to the standard that the first 3 movies set, and then 4 and 5 added more spectacle to them, and they're higher budget films.
Yeah.
But they still do what they do really well, and they stick to the formula that has worked even from the first movie.
Right.
So it's the fact that the movie sticks to its guns. This one, even after being 6 movies in, and the fact that they haven't quite jumped the shark yet.
Yeah.
In terms of going over the top, I think that it's worth owning and then being like, this is a franchise that I would happily binge.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And it wouldn't grow tired on me as I kept watching it. You know.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't need to be watched in sequential order.
No.
I mean, it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need the movies previous to it to be able to understand the context in this film. They do a really good job in the opening scene of summarizing the things that happened in the last film, and it doesn't harp on any things that happened before there, except a couple characters, which you don't need to know their backstory in this film because they just get to know how they interact in the film as it is.
Yeah.
Everyone was just great. I loved the acting in this. I loved the like when they first jumped out of the plane into the thunderstorm, I was like, wow, like really? There's a thunderstorm.
Right.
But it's like it's like a oh boy really instead of a oh come on really.
Yeah.
You know. So for that reason, this long drawn out reason for saying that it's a buy for me.
Okay.
So this is the one franchise that I would say is worth your time buying like a box set of because they're all really solid films.
Yeah. So for me, obviously it's a buy because I already own it.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
For one. 2, I mean, just to piggyback off of what you were saying about like the movie in general is that like it is such a good movie. It's a really good action adventure movie that like you won't get tired of. Now, am I going to say that like, oh yeah, it's super good to where you can turn right back around and rewatch it? Not really. Not right after you watch it. I'd say like, you know, give it like a couple weeks, if not a couple months, and then you can go back and rewatch it. And like, yes, it is part of a franchise, but like you were saying, you don't need to go back to the like, oh, I need to watch all these other movies to get the context of all of this stuff.
Right.
You can if you want to in order to understand the characters a lot better. But otherwise, as a whole, as a story, you don't need to do that. It's its own like pocket of its own story. Like there's not this overarching story, kind of like the John Wick movies, to where it's like, oh, this is chapter 1, and then like we go through the chapters, and so like it's a sequel upon the sequel upon the sequel.
Like maybe they had a plan for like the next film after Rogue Nation, the 5th one.
Yeah.
But you can tell that like the direction of these films were not necessarily let's build upon this and like let's make it a story that spans over like let's plan like 4 movies in advance.
Right.
They didn't do that.
No.
Or at least it doesn't seem like they did that.
Oh wait, hold on. I think you turned off your mic.
Oh man.
There you go.
Or at least it didn't seem like they did that with these films.
Yeah.
But like I mean, with like I hate talking about. I'm talking about John Wick, for example. John Wick, they had to get all of that stuff sort of figured out beforehand before they said like let's make some more. Whereas with these films, it seemed like even you can tell that even from like the different directors. Like Brad Bird directed Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
Which if you don't know who that is, he also directed The Incredibles. Actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Brad Bird did both Incredibles 1 and 2.
Nice.
So they have different like directors, and they have different like it's not all the same thing, and that's what you really want to have in a franchise is the ability to not make it so that you have to plan everything out ahead of time, which is something that most modern franchises don't really do very well, or they don't do it at all, I should say.
Right. But yeah, otherwise, like especially after like 1, 2, and 3, those were the only ones that were like talked about being like the second one is the sequel, and then there's the third one. So it's just Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then after that, then they decided to make them actual titles for them instead of being like, oh, this is 4, this is 5.
I missed that. I kind of missed that though. That
what,
like
there's just 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, every modern movie now has to have like a subtitle if it's in a. It's not just like.
It's like, oh, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. It's no longer just like 1, 2, 3, whatever.
Yeah, because then you have like Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. It's like
right.
I miss those simpler times where you could just be 1, 2, and 3 and it'd be fine.
Right.
Even John Wick kind of does that too, where it's like
where it's just chapter. Chapter 3 was like Parabellum because of the overarching thing of being like prepare for war.
Yeah.
So,
but was John Wick 2 John Wick 2, or was it called John Wick Chapter 2?
No, it was Chapter 2.
Okay.
It was just John Wick Chapter 2, Chapter 3 Parabellum, and then Chapter 4.
Okay.
So, but yeah, especially with these ones, like I already said, that you could just watch them out of order, and it still like kind of makes sense. If like, not that if you don't watch them out of order, but like, I would say that this is like top 3 favorite Mission Impossible movies that I've seen. Because like the third one is probably like my favorite. I think that the first one, I think it's this one and then the first one. And then going down the list is like Ghost Protocol and like Rogue Nation and stuff. But like,
and then
Rogue Nation is above Ghost Protocol, but still.
Yeah.
But like, even with this movie, you don't really, again, need to watch the others in order to understand what's going on with this one, because it's not continuing on the overarching story of what's going on. It's just about Ethan Hunt and his team getting a mission done. That's it.
And they don't introduce a bunch of random characters that have to show up, and like they keep the cast small on purpose.
And it's kind of like what I mentioned earlier, is like the James Bond movies, like with especially like no matter which one that you watch, it doesn't matter which one that you watch, whether it's Sean Connery or Daniel Craig or like any of the other guys that are associated with it. There's Pierce Brosnan. That's the other one that I was trying to think of. You can watch any of them, and it doesn't matter if it makes sense, because it does. Because again,
it's self-contained.
It's its own specific character dealing with this specific story. That's it. Like, it doesn't piggyback off of another one to where you have to watch the other ones or understand the dynamic with these characters, because especially with James Bond, each person that played James Bond, whether that's Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig, whoever, they have their own style of how they're playing James Bond.
Yes.
And they have their own specific set of stuff that they're doing throughout their whole segment of their run of James Bond. Because with Spectre and then No Time to Die, I feel like you kind of have to watch those ones together.
Yeah.
Or it's like Spectre and the one that came before that one. Because
was it Skyfall? No,
Skyfall.
Yeah.
It was Skyfall and then Spectre.
That's the one movie that I remember is Skyfall.
Yeah. Skyfall and then Spectre, they do go hand in hand. But otherwise, you could watch Casino Royale and then you could watch the third one. Because the second one isn't that great.
Yeah.
Because that's when the writer's strike was happening around that time. So.
Oh, yeah, that.
But then, because all that bunch of controversy. But all in all, for me, just to piggyback off of what you were saying about the whole movie in general, the action's really good. The action sequences are really good. The stunts that they do are always better and better as each movie goes on. It's really good. And again, like, you could also like have a list of things that they do in these movies as far as stunts, like the helicopter scene and then the airplane scene of this movie, or like him hanging off the side of the one giant,
or them doing the
giant plane,
the car chase through Paris. You know,
so like, and those things are really cool, and like you can talk about them for a really long time too. But with that being said, I mean, honestly, guys, this is just a buy, just in general. So definitely, if you haven't checked it out, definitely go check it out. Buy it if you can. Like, I kind of wish that I owned it on 4K, but all the rest of the movies, besides the last one, Dead Reckoning Part 1, is on Blu-ray for me. I have Dead Reckoning Part 1 for 4K when that first came out, because it still says Part 1.
Yeah.
And then they decided to change the last one. Of going like, well, we decided just to leave it as Dead Reckoning because we're going to do it as the final Reckoning, because this is the final film of the franchise.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, because they were originally going to do that one. I think they were going to do one more, but they just decided just to do the last one as
which
final
is good.
Reckoning.
Kill your franchises.
Yeah.
Kill them. Like stop them at some point.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, I mean, honestly, since we both say that it's a buy, let's get into suggested people of how wrong that these people are that they talked about this movie.
So I'm looking at the title of this review that I see here, and it's the last part of it that really gets me. Yeah.
So for those of you that are new to the show, what we do is that after we get done with our consensus, we talk about suggested people. It is a 1, 10, or sometimes both star review on IMDb that I will go to, and then we will have an open up discussion about how wrong that these people are with their intake on these movies. So, for instance, we have this person that says it's boring, cliche-ridden, overrated, no new gadgets. Forever ad nauseum car chases, bike chases, running, jumping, put me to sleep. My wife says, where are the new gadgets? As others mentioned, ? None. We enjoyed the final 15 minutes of great scenic shots and aerial action. Anything but another car/bike chase. There was true impossibility. An A-bomb timer is set for about 15 minutes, and Tom's plan had to take an hour to accomplish, and yet the magnetic clock never reaches 15. Hey, why not set it for an hour? Story was convoluted and lacked any comic relief. Another Mission Impossible. Tom jumping from way high up onto concrete and landing like a feather. My wife and I both gave it thumbs down. Sadly, Tom's best acting was when he was doing stunts and not acting. What are you talking about?
Can I say, whoosh. Did you write this review, or did your wife write this review? Okay, let's break this down quickly. Car chases. This is an action film.
Yeah.
This is not only this action film. This is a spy secret agent action film.
Right.
You know, it's going to have that in there. This is the 6th movie in the franchise. If you don't like that, then maybe you shouldn't have watched up to the 6th one. Maybe you should have gotten done with it maybe after the second or the third one, maybe.
And like, what new gadgets are they going to introduce in this
also,
one? Because it wasn't about that.
There were new gadgets, though.
There was the suit that they used to jump out of the plane.
That was a new gadget. The tracker chip that they put into Lane's neck.
Yeah,
that was new. Are you talking about you're just tired of seeing them?
Well, it's kind of like in Ghost Protocol when they have the gloves.
Yeah.
That they can scale up the building with.
No, but like, are they just tired of like seeing them put on masks and do the face changing gadgets?
Pretty
like,
much.
That's that, but like they addressed that in the film. It's like, oh, you're just guys just putting masks on like it's Halloween. It's like that's their thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you watch these films because it's cool about the spectacle. I guess this guy would rather watch Hobbs and Shaw if he wanted more comic relief.
I would say because like, oh yeah, there's not enough comic relief because they're making this one more serious because the stakes are high.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But yeah, and then especially with Tom Cruise like jumping around and stuff,
his
and
acting,
it's like he doesn't like, especially with him like landing like a feather. It's like he literally broke his ankle on a stunt that he did. So I wouldn't say that he exactly lands like a feather throughout the rest of this movie because he slams hard, like especially when he's on the bike and he's looking back at the cops chasing him. He runs into a car and then he like.
Are you kidding
rolls
me?
Several times.
He gets messed up in these films.
And then when he runs away, he's limping too. So he fucked up his leg when that happened. And then he jumps through or over these bushes and like drops down into like where the like I don't know if it's like it's not really the sewer system or anything like that.
I guess they're like I guess everybody needs to be like Keanu Reeves and John Wick, where they have to be like permanently crippled for the rest of the film because they got into a knife fight.
Yeah,
I guess. But like that, how interesting would that be? Watching around a wounded Tom Cruise do all this other cool like stuff.
Right.
Like how interesting would that be?
Like him limping
there's got to be a
stuff.
little bit of suspension of disbelief when you're doing a movie that has all of these like kind of ridiculous stunts in them. You kind of gotta be a little bit more. I get the criticism of like, okay, he should have like broken at least something. Like they didn't do much of that when we watched Hobbs and Shaw. Like they did like a pretty egregious stunt and they walked away just fine.
Yeah.
But again, you can't just have him be walking around with a limp for the rest of the film when he's got all this other stuff to do. You kind of got to let it flow a little bit and stop nitpicking stuff like that.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's it for Suggestive People.
And that's it for Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah, and then that's the overarching thing unless you have anything else.
No, I'm good. We got it.
So now we are going to spin the wheel to see what next week's episode is going to be for the Summer Movie Blockbuster hits. So we're going to spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
And see what's going on. And it is going to be... Yes, it is going to be Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. Oh, that was really cool.
Not the original Tomb Raider with... what's her name?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
She was married to Brad Pitt. She was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Angelina Jolie?
Yeah. Because she did 2 movies in the early 2000s. No, we're talking about the 2016 one.
I haven't seen that one. The way that you make it sound like the 2016 one makes you sound like it's bad.
You're in for a treat, Jack.
Oh, boy.
You're in for a treat.
I can't wait.
So,
Anywho.
With that being said, again, thank you all so much for tuning in, watching, listening, however you guys are doing it. Again, be sure to do all the things that I mentioned at the beginning part of the show. And we'll see you guys next week for Tomb Raider, the 2016 version. So, bye.